Hello, everyone, and welcome to WonderCon 2021 Online. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Anniversary panel presented by IDW Publishing. Hooray! Thank you for joining us. Obviously, we are going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and how we are celebrating his 30th birthday this year. I'm joined by a number of writers and artists for Sonic comic projects, with a special focus on what we are doing for the 30th. So, first off, we have Gail Galligan, New York Times bestselling cartoonist, working on the Babysitters Club graphic novels.
Hey.
Ian Flynn, 15-year Sonic the Hedgehog veteran writer.
I can't outrun the little blue hedgehog. He keeps dragging me back.
Bricardi Curry, who has run the gamut as a cover artist, a colorist, a penciler and inker, and a full line artist on both the Sonic the Hedgehog ongoing and the 2020 annual.
I am a Swiss Army knife.
Another person who's pulling a lot of duties in Evan Stanley, who is the current writer and one of the artists on the ongoing series.
Hi.
And the manager of licensing for SEGA of America, Mike Cisneros.
Hey everybody, good to see y'all again.
So, before we get into the specifics of what we're working on, let's take a moment to talk about Sonic. He's been around for 30 years. If everyone wouldn't mind, could you tell us a little bit about what Sonic means to you personally and your experiences with him over the past 3 decades? We'll start in the same order we did the lineup with. So, Gail, do you mind going first?
Oh my gosh, of course. I cannot believe Sonic is so aged and yet still looks gloriously young. I'm a little bit jealous. And I have so many fond memories of Sonic. I did get a chance to play a lot of the games growing up, but he was always there in my life. I still remember my sister and I going to our local video rental and pulling out the Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. I'm so sorry to my parents. We quoted that back and forth for weeks afterward. You might know everything I'm going to do. I'm sorry. But I am just so delighted to contribute to such an iconic series I've been a fan of for a very long time.
Ian, what about you?
As we've established, Sonic is kind of my life. He's literally taken up almost 50% of my time on this spinning blue rock. That's as cool and blue as he is, if we're going to throw quotes around. It was the first game that I really got into when my dad brought home the Sega Genesis out of the blue. I'm not counting the Atari games. They don't count. And I've just, it's been an honor and a privilege to work with Sonic in so many different mediums and to be with it for so long.
Picardi?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Ian and Gail said earlier. Played the games really early on in my life. I had Sonic Mega Collection, even though I'm 24 now. I still grew up with the older games. But since then, it's been just like a slippery slope when it came to just enjoying Sonic and just loving everything about him.
What about you, Evan?
Yeah, well, I got into Sonic a little bit later than a lot of folks. I really came of age with the franchise because I got in when I was 14 and I got really involved with the fandom. And it was the games were good, but what it really hit for me was as a creative outlet in interacting with the fandom and creating my own fan works, which led me to start want to work in comics in the first place, and it's how I chose my major at college. It's really become a super integral part of my life, and I'm really happy that I get to be here and keep helping out.
Mike?
Right. Well, I mean, like a lot of people, I guess I started off back in the early 90s with Sonic. My first one was on a Game Gear. That was my first introduction to Sonic. So a lot of people were on the Genesis, and I was a handheld kid at the time. And then, of course, lately, I've been with Sega for almost 6 years now. So I've been kind of, Sonic's been very much a part of my life. Literally 10, 12 hours a day, I'm living and breathing Sonic. So Sonic keeps my bills paid. So thank you, Sonic.
I think that is all. That's a lot of different ways of getting into Sonic and having Sonic sort of be this fixture in everyone's lives. I think it speaks to the fact that Sonic has been around for 30 years because he is so global and so beloved across mediums. I think our viewers are people who have come into Sonic from the games, from the many shows, from the previous comics. What do the rest of you sort of think makes Sonic such a fixture in pop culture? Why is he so ever present and appealing to people across generations?
For me, one of the biggest draws is Sonic as a franchise has been a lot of different things to a lot of different people, which it spans a variety of genres. So it's like there's things anyone can find that they like there, as well as having super solid roots in not only a really beautifully designed game, but also the influences from classic 1920s, 1930s animation in the art design that has just given it such a strong, appealing core.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like, that design is so deeply memorable. Like, if you show anybody Sonic, they're gonna know, like, even if they can't remember his name, they will know exactly who he is. And I think that's a big part of it, in addition to just like, Sonic is almost aspirational for kids. Like, oh, this is the coolest kid. I would love to be fast. I would love to eat this chili dog. Like, I definitely, I definitely kind of look up to Sonic's like core character in a way, and I think a lot of people identify with that.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that I've noticed also, just being so on the brand lately, is just been like Sonic brings people together too. It's not just the character. It's like that core community of Sonic fans is very tight knit. Like it's insane how passionate that bunch of people are. They were able to get a movie design changed, for God's sake. Those guys are they're an awesome bunch of people, and they really care a lot about this character. And that comes off in everything that we try to do. We try to make sure we're servicing those guys too.
I think he's cool. I think a lot of people just like the color blue.
I think that is sort of an interesting thing about a lot of the Sonic characters, which is they have, to your point, Ricardi, and to Evan's point earlier, they have a very simple sort of color coding and like visual style that makes them so appealing and so distinct. Sonic is blue and Knuckles is red, and you can tell them apart whenever you see them. And also, we get a lot of fan letters from like little kids, and you can tell which one's Sonic and which one's Knuckles, even if they are just literal like scribbles on a page, because they are that sort of essentially clear as characters.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that when I'm planning pages, I start with like a tiny drawing that's like 2 inches tall. And like I have visual shorthand for every Sonic character that is just a couple lines, but you can tell which one is which easily. And then like I'll go try to thumbnail some other project. I'm like, I can't tell any of these characters apart. This is terrible.
Wait, you thumbnail?
So we'll be talking more about it soon. Before the Classic Sonic 30th anniversary special that we're doing, Reggie Graham, who's one of our colorists, shared with us some color coding he did for characters who are coming up. And literally it's just, dots of color to describe the characters. But even that was like, oh yeah, I know that that's Sonic. I know that that's Knuckles. I know that that's whoever. So yeah, it was very cool. What sort of special place do comics play to the Sonic brand and to Sonic's longevity? How has the narrative ability of comics really helped, in your eyes, Sonic stay around?
It's kept him relevant and constant. You don't have to wait 3, 4, 5 years for his next adventure. You don't have to wait a whole year for the next season. You get a monthly adventure with Sonic, and then it's like, well, what happens at the end? It obviously lives on some kind of a cliffhanger. I want to know what happens next month, and I want to know what happens next month, and I want to know what happens next month, and oh, now there's a game, and now there's a new cartoon, and now there's a movie, and it's just, there's Sonic always everywhere.
Yeah, and building on that, also, it's like the comics, we get to do things that there isn't time for in the games, that is still like really valuable, like story opportunities and characterization moments that we can totally monopolize on, and really fill in the gaps for people when they come to the games and they want more.
Yeah, and things flow the other way as well. If you're a Sonic mobile player, then you're probably playing the Sonic Forces Speed Battle game or Sonic Dash. Thank you.
You got it.
And you're playing with Tangle and Whisper, who are
Yeah.
It's great to like in just from our review like standpoint, all the scripts and everything like that. Those are reviewed by like Yukawa-san and Izuka-san and Hoshino-san and Toyota-san, all the major big guys on Sonic Team. So anything that they see in the books that they really like or connect with, there is that chance that it can get brought into the bigger franchise. And that's always like the really exciting thing about comics too. We get that monthly touch base with like all the people that love Sonic. They can interact with them on a regular basis, like Ian was saying. But there's also we can, like everyone's mentioned, we can draw on like what was done in the games, or we can add some new things. And sometimes those new things are so good that we want to bring them into the larger franchise, so more than the comic book readers can also enjoy those types of stories.
And then it ends up splitting off into various other mediums. And I know Bricardi and I are both wearing our IDW Sonic shirts.
Oh. Yeah, I love this shirt to death. I've worn it an embarrassing amount of times.
I, at this point, have enough that if I want to, I can wear a different Sonic shirt for every day of the week. And all right. So now let's talk specifically about the 30th anniversary special. It is an 80-page comic that is coming out this June. On the creative team, we have the lead story, Seasons of Chaos, by Ian Flynn, with art by Aaron Hammerstrom and Reggie Graham. We have Dr. Eggman's Birthday by Gail Galligan, with art by Thomas Roethlisberger and Natalie Fordrain. And finally, though they couldn't be here, the last story is Sonic Learns to Drive by Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy, and Mauro Fonseca. So, to sort of kick us off, Ian, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Seasons of Chaos is?
It's just fun. It is quintessential fun. If you watch the Sonic Mania Adventures cartoons, and you were delighted as I was at just how fun and lighthearted and accessible it was, this is basically a spiritual successor, a cousin of sorts. It's set in the classic world, so there's not a ton of melodrama, and we have a bunch of characters show up. I don't want to spoil it all, but when I was pitching it, I'm like, okay, who knows if we'll ever get another shot at the classic material. Let me see how many toys I can play with. It's like, okay, so we got Sonic and Knuckles and Tails and Amy. That's all cool. What if we added in Mighty and Ray? Yeah, okay, cool. What if we put in Metal Sonic? Yeah, okay, cool.
Oh my God.
What if we put in something else? What if we put in something else? What if we put in these guys? Oh, that all got approved? Sweet.
We love your crazy ideas, Ian. I mean, really, it's fun.
That's good because I have lots.
Ian, can you speak to the name of the book, Seasons of Chaos? Like, where does that come from?
I was trying to come up with a kind of general theme to carry the story along, something in the background just to give it a sense of cohesion and progression, just so it wasn't another just straightforward adventure. So the entire story is kind of framed in the idea of if this were a classic game, Mike, maybe pitch this to other people, and each zone that everyone goes through is themed around a different season of the year.
Not to give too much away, but one of those zones we will actually see again in Gail's story, Dr. Eggman's Birthday, because hey, it's not just Sonic's birthday, it's also 30 years of Dr. Eggman. Gail, can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love Sonic, but honestly, I'm also very fond of this goofy villain. He just, he keeps on trying. I respect his persistence. He'll get him someday. But I figured, Eggman is kind of relatable to me as a human who is frustrated with things. And I felt like something that would be very difficult for him would be just that eternal, ticking of the clock. Once a year, he's reminded, oh, another year on this earth, and I still haven't gotten that blue hedgehog. Gosh, dag it. So I wanted to kind of take a moment to, spend some time with this very frustrated character. Like, okay, it's his birthday. The closest people in his life, the badniks, maybe they try to make him feel a little bit better every year, but they're not really good at it. So it's a goofy, fun, silly story just about this one day in Eggman's life. I really hope you enjoy it because I had such a fun time writing it, and I've gotten to start to see some rough drawings. And I love working with other people. Thomas is incredible.
I think we are all very excited for it, and I'm worried that if we say anything more, we'll give a little bit too much away. But fortunately, while the classic Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary special is out in June, it's not Gail's only Sonic work this year. And if you really enjoy Gail's work, you'll be extra glad because it'll be free. Gail is writing our Sonic the Hedgehog 30th special free comic book day issue as well, which again will have art by Thomas Roethlisberger and Natalie Fordrain. So Gail, can you tell us a little bit about the free comic book day story?
Hello again. Thank you for asking. Genuinely, this has been such a delight to work with you on. This free comic book day story will focus around Amy Rose. I love this character. She's the absolute sweetest. And I wanted to give her some time and space to be herself and maybe explore some new hobbies. What would happen if Amy Rose, like me, wanted to try her hand at drawing comics? Would she draw little autobio stories about her life? What would happen if somebody saw those? So it's just a really fun, goofy time that we get to see like things from her point of view. I absolutely love just going all out and talking about like the goofy wish she would try to draw something. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see it finished.
Same. And I think that there's something, kind of extra fun about celebrating Sonic's 30th birthday with a Amy story about comics in comics, really tying together a lot of what makes Sonic so great. So you can pick that up on Saturday, August 14th, this year's free comic book day. But the fun doesn't end there. First off, I'd like to mention that there will be a special deluxe edition of the 30th anniversary special. This will be out in October in hardcover. It will collect the complete regular edition of the book from June, plus bonus content, including that free comic book day story, a cover gallery, a little from script comic feature working through the process of how comics get made, and a lot more that we can't just talk about yet. I'll also mention that coming in June is Sonic the Hedgehog, the IDW Collection Volume 1. This is the first in a new line of oversized hardcovers that will collect all of our Sonic comics in suggested reading order. So the first 12 issues are in this one. The stories Fallout, The Fate of Dr. Eggman, and The Battle for Angel Island. Evan, Ian, I know it's been a while since you guys worked on it, but can you tell us anything about what that sort of first year was like working on IDW Sonic?
I'm never going to forget that it all began with this big roundtable meeting with, the IDW crew and the SEGA crew. It was this big, momentous occasion to get the book up and running. And I was sitting directly across from Izuka-san, and that already makes me nervous because, he's kind of Mr. Sonic. And the meeting starts up and we're talking and everything's going well. And then everyone kind of looks at me and says, okay, Ian, pitch the first year. And I'm like, now, me. I thought we were just going to review the notes. All right, Mr. Izuka-san. That's redundant. Oh, no. Here's what I'd like to do. And I pitched it right then and there. And we did it. So I guess I did a good enough job pitching it, but it's It was a lot of fun because it's another new take at comic adventures for Sonic, something kind of distilled to its purest essence, and just trying to have a lot of fun with what Sonic is and seeing all of the characters that make the franchise special, and going just completely crazy with Neo Metal coming back and having Burning Blaze, blow up stuff. Tangle and Whisper joined the fray, who I had no idea that they were going to be as huge as they are. And it's just one great, wonderful experience, start to finish. Although it hasn't really finished because we're still going. Just a good experience.
I remember working on my first issue, which I think was issue 4. And it was coming back to doing Sonic, and it's like I was really nervous because I hadn't been working with Sonic for a little while, and I was a little bit rusty. And I was like, oh geez, we're doing a new comic. I gotta make this good. And what really clicked for me was getting to meet Tangle and really getting to shape the way that she acts on the page as a new character with her own style. And that was what made the comic click for me, was figuring that out and getting to express that new character.
And then just a couple issues later, we had to do it again with Whisper. And then a couple issues later, we had to do it again with Dr. Starline. So yeah, it was a very eventful first year.
Yeah, that's a good volume to pick up, right?
It'll be a great way to get caught up if you're behind. And if you have read it already, well, it's still a great thing to pick up because it's all nice and in a hardcover with a new cover by Evan. And yeah, I think the pages are a little bit bigger than you've probably seen them before, so you can look in for even more detail. So, speaking of the ongoing series, that is also a big part of our 30th plans. Right now, we're doing the story Test Run, and Evan and Riccardi are both working on that. The first 2 issues should be out at this point. So, Evan, Riccardi, you want to tell us a little bit about what Test Run is?
Yeah, well, Test Run is a 4-part arc that is about Tails, Amy, and Sonic investigating this weird tower created by Dr. Eggman and getting trapped within it and running through this gauntlet of weird traps and tests that Eggman has prepared. While meanwhile, Tangle and Belle, a new character, are sabotaging the tower from the control side. And I think with issue 2, we're really starting to get into the meat of the story, and it really brings out the core of the story, as well as kind of my intention for the season, which is telling these smaller, more self-contained arcs that have a really strong character interpersonal motivations to as a contrast to our last 2 seasons, which were much more broad ensemble stories. So I'm hoping that with issue 2 and issue 3 of Test Run, we'll really start to get into the draw of that storyline. Oh, and it's fun to draw. I'm doing some of the drawing. Riccardi's doing most of it.
So what's that been like, Riccardi? This is your first time doing full line art on the ongoing series. Can you tell us?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Started out as a colorist for the series and just slowly worked my way up. Wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting myself to be doing it like this soon. I'm like, oh, just give it another year, maybe 2, maybe 3. But yeah, just went straight in there, and it's been a blast. I've been learning a lot. Evan's story, I wasn't sure if I was able to pull it off because it's a lot of crazy stuff there.
Sorry.
But no, you're totally fine. But yeah, it's been a crazy roller coaster, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
It is a pretty twisty story in a lot of ways. So since 38 is out, can you tell me a little bit about what your favorite part to draw was of that?
Maybe the beginning part. Just the whole maze, conundrum, mechanical doohickey that Evan came up with. It was pretty cool to draw and just have the characters just interact with the space. Yeah, that's about it.
You did a good job making it very funky and exciting to read. So.
Thank you.
All right. And then after test run is over, Ian is returning for an arc called Zeddy Hunt. Ian, can you tell us a little bit about that?
At the end of the Metal Virus saga, the Deadly Six, who were just making everything worse, as they usually do, were defeated, but they weren't really dealt with. They were still spread all over the place. They were still active. And then in Bad Guys, we saw Zavok team up with a bunch of other villains. And while his plans, again, were foiled, he was still kicking. Hurt, but he's still on the move. So Zeddy Hunt is going to deal with the fallout of all that. Zavok has been beaten 3 times now. He is not happy about that. So he is out for revenge on the most epic of scales. And not in the usual Flynn fashion of let's blow everything up in a giant set piece. This is a much more personal, focused attack on his part. And how he messes with the heroes' heads and how it all kind of comes down to the wire is going to be a bit of a nail biter. And the tail end of it, he says, dancing on the line of spoiling things, is building off of everything that Evan has done so far and will kind of put us on the path for our big push to number 50.
That it
Yeah.
will.
So
Evan, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm really looking forward to the like 49-50 area that we're working up to, because it's really we haven't done a story like this yet. It's a much more personal and focused than we've had with one of our big kind of like finale milestones for a season. And I'm really excited to see how Ian's arcs and my arcs kind of come together at this point. And it's like, hopefully it's good. I think it'll be good.
It's also interesting because as we get to number 50, though I don't want to get too far into things, it is sort of your first time, Ian and Evan, working collaboratively as writers rather than as writer and artist. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Everything is nerve-wracking for me. I'm always nervous, but this was really interesting because it's like I've never worked with Ian before, so I didn't know what his communication style would be for writing. And luckily, it feels like the ideas we were coming to the table with actually ended up meshing really well, and putting them together and reaching a compromise on like plot points actually went quite smoothly and was a lot of fun. And it's like we're communicating regularly, keeping each other updated on either story changes or how opportunities to further enmesh our related plot lines as we go along. And yeah, it's been really fun and kind of, at least for me, this is a dream come true. I've been reading Ian's stuff since I was like 15, 16 years old. It blew my mind.
No, go ahead, keep talking.
And I learned how to write comics by reading his comics, no pressure. And so it's just really, really exciting and rewarding to be working with you directly.
A moment. And kind of off of that, there's been a great deal of mutual respect going into this. Evan may not have been writing as much, but we have worked together on a lot of Sonic projects over the years. Yeah. So I know that she knows the material, and it's not like, okay, do I have to help someone understand what we're doing? It's Evan. I trust her. I know she's going to do a great job with it. And since I got to do pretty much seasons 1 and 2, it's like, okay, Evan's driving now. Let Evan pitch the direction, let her tell the story, and I'll contribute here and there, but it's time that I step aside. Let me be a contributor to Evan's vision.
Really glad that I wasn't just thrown in there on my own, just like figure it out. I was like, Ian's still here. We're gonna be okay.
Well, also I have to thank you because we're wrapping up Metal Virus, and I'm like, what do I do for an encore? It's like, Evan's going to do the encore. I don't have to think anymore. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
So you can get caught up on those stories. Sonic's 37 and 38 are on sale now. Issues number 39 and 40, which will be coming soon, finish up that test run story. 41 through 44 are the Zeddy Hunt. And then after that, we're in the Road to 50. It's going to be very exciting. Is there anything else Sonic related that you guys are excited for and can talk about so far for later this year and how you're celebrating his 30th anniversary?
I mean, we've got that thing planned.
Right.
That's going to be cool. And, you know,
Right.
it's part of our big push to number 50. But we can't talk about that yet.
Well, I mean, the Netflix show announcement went out,
Oh,
so that's really
yeah.
exciting. And you know, we did that reveal of the logo for the second movie, so there's some cool stuff that's kind of we can all look forward to, I think. You know, and then you know, from our side, we're just there'll be some amazing things coming out later this year that I can't talk about what exactly it is, but we really just can't wait to show everybody, you know, what we have planned to celebrate, you know, 30 years of Sonic the Hedgehog. So we're thrilled. So I think everyone's going to be really pleased once the curtain is pulled open.
Same. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening for Sonic, and I think you're all going to be very happy. So, yet again, let me just say, the Sonic the Hedgehog ongoing series is available now wherever great comic books are sold. You can get it in print, you can get it digitally. Please support your local comic shop, but do it safely. And when you go into your store safely on August 14th for Free Comic Book Day, make sure you pick up your copy of the Sonic book. If you need to find your comic book store because you don't know where it is, check out comicshoplocator.com. And then keep an eye out for the Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary special in June, as well as the IDW Collection Volume 1, which should be out in time just for Sonic's actual 30th birthday. And then for more updates on Sonic, follow IDW on Facebook and Twitter, and join the IDW Sonic Comic Squad Facebook group. So thank you to all of my guests for being here and for talking Sonic with us for so long.